it's not pushing back, because I think that's where the human nature part comes in. It's like you could do it with Democrats and Republicans. We're going to go into a room, sit these two people down across from each other. I don't like what he's saying. I don't like what the other person, going back and forth, not liking what each other's saying, and be so on edge, wanting to get their point across. I'm going to be heard. I'm going to be heard. Where now neither one of them are listening. Their ears are shut off because they just want to be heard. But actually being open to having a conversation, even with somebody you disagree with. And it doesn't have to be politics. It doesn't have to be religion. It could be anything. That's why these kind of conversations are so important, is because we can reach people that maybe you would never, ever be able to reach before. And it's not about changing their mind, but or making them, because you can't force somebody to change. And in the work that we're doing too, if we make somebody change, like if you say, hey, John over here, you're going to go to jail if you don't get out of the movement. John's going to say, okay, I'm out, I'm done. And he's not going to change up here. And he's not going to change in here in the heart. And we want real change. You want them to understand what they're doing is wrong, to acknowledge it, to see it. And no one can make them do that. I can't do that. Daryl, Dia, you, none of us can do that. We can't make somebody change. We don't want to make somebody change, because it's not going to be real. It's not going to be genuine. We want real change. Real change comes from within. And if they start seeing what they're doing is wrong, because you've presented things to them in a way that's make them question it. That's where real change happens. That's how it worked for me, is Dia questioned what I was saying. Well, what about this, Jeff? What about the things you're saying? Doesn't that affect all people, not just white people? She wasn't saying you're wrong or pushing back, but she was inserting those little questions. And even though at the time I'm spitting out answers, I had to think about it later that evening and go, why couldn't you answer her? Why couldn't you answer that lady? Why didn't you have a proper answer? Well, I didn't have a proper answer because I was wrong. And that took a minute to process. But once I did, then that started the journey. But so that's how it works. And we call that relational dialogue.